everyone. I'm Nida Kitan, and I will be discussing the ethical review process. Ethics review by a research ethics committee or REC is typically required when sensitive personal data are being collected. The role of a REC is to protect the rights, safety, and well-being of research participants and to promote ethically sound of research. What is research ethics review? It is a process that is undertaken to ensure the ethical and responsible conduct of a research project. Ethical review is about helping you as a researcher to think through the ethical issues surrounding your research. Among other duties, this involves ensuring that research complies with national and international data protection laws regarding the use of personal information collected in research. General guidelines on research ethics review. Review should be done on a regional, national, local, and institutional level. The Ethics Review Committee or REC should be independent, multidisciplinary, multi-sectoral, and pluralistic. Its primary function is to protect the research participants. Mechanism must be established to ensure cooperation, clear and efficient communication. ERC is established according to regulation of the country based on community values and principles. To whom do I submit my proposal? All research proposals involving human participants need to be submitted by the staff member to the ERC Secretariat. Each proposal undergoes a preliminary screening by the Secretariat to confirm that all necessary documentation has been submitted. Example, study protocol, informed consent forms, study instruments, local ethics approval, and others. Only when all required documentation has been submitted will the Secretariat forward the study for review by the ERC. A study will only receive final approval from the ERC when all core documentation has been satisfactorily submitted, including local ethics approval. We have here the types of ethical review. Full committee review of proposals. All research proposals that present more than minimal risk to human subjects are reviewed by the two ERC members who present the proposal to the ERC, followed by a general discussion and a consensus decision. Responsible officers for the proposal under review are invited to respond to queries raised and to provide clarification and/or justification. We have here another types of ethical review. We have expedited review of proposals. A proposal is circulated for expedited review when the research procedures present no more than minimal harm to the research participants or communities. In this case, the proposal is sent to two ERC members who are required to provide their feedback to the Secretariat within 10 working days. As appropriate, the proposal is then either approved or returned to the technical officer for further action. Another, exemption from ERC review. Proposals are exempt from ERC review when there is no possibility of harm arising as a result of the conduct of the research project or when the information being collected is available from the public domain. We have here another types of ethical review, accelerated review. In the event of a public health emergency, such as investigation of a disease outbreak or a disaster relief operation, a protocol may be submitted for accelerated review. Another, continuing review. Since ethics approvals are provided to studies for a limited time period, The ERC reviews the progress of the study of periodic intervals. In order to renew the approval, the responsible officer should submit the necessary documentation to the ERC prior to approval expiry. How is a proposal reviewed at ERC meeting? One of the two primary reviewers make a brief presentation of the proposal under review, highlighting the ethical and other issues raised by the study and the documentation provided for review. The second primary reviewer supplements the presentation by his or her own review after the presentation by the primary reviewers. The discussion is open to the rest of the ERC members who may raise additional questions. The Secretariat invites the responsible officer to attend the segment of the ERC meeting when discussion on his or her proposal are taking place. The responsible officer is given the opportunity to respond to all the queries and comments, and there is often a lively discussion on the proposal. When all the queries have been answered, the responsible officer will leave the meeting to enable the primary reviewers to make their overall recommendations, which the rest of the ERC may or may not endorse. What if the committee cannot agree on a final recommendation? According to the ERC Rules of Procedure, a committee decision on a research proposal shall be made by consensus. Where consensus cannot be reached, consideration of the proposal shall be postponed to a subsequent meeting in order to seek additional information or expert advice if so decided by a majority of members present and voting, or the proposal shall be considered not approved. How is the outcome of the review communicated to the responsible officer? The outcome of the review will be communicated electronically to the technical unit. The Secretariat will provide an ERC summary review form to the technical officer outlining the concerns, if any, raised by the ERC. The ERC recommends that the responsible officer should not contact individual ERC members present at a meeting when their proposals was discussed. Any questions or concerns that a responsible officer might have with regard to his or her proposal should be referred directly to the Secretariat. The review summary is sent electronically initially and is followed by the hard copy only after the proposal is fully approved or if it is rejected. What do the ERC recommendations mean? The ERC gives any one of the following recommendations on a proposal. Approve as submitted. The proposal is approved and no modifications are required. In this case, the responsible officer should prepare the Technical Service Agreement or TSA if the study is being funded by the organization. If the organization is not funding the study, the review summary is the document required in order to begin the study. Another, approve conditionally, requires amendments and or clarifications. The proposal's approval is contingent upon an adequate response by the principal investigator to the satisfaction of the reviewers or the chair on behalf of the ERC. If amendments are required, they should be included in the proposal and the amended proposal submitted to the ERC Secretariat. The proposal will either be scrutinized by the Secretariat or by the primary reviewers as decided by the ERC. Not approved requires additional information and or rewriting. The proposal should be improved and the revised version of the proposal should be resubmitted by the responsible officer as a new submission to the ERC for review by the committee. Another, rejected. The proposal is ethically unacceptable and may not be approved by the ERC or supported by the organization. The principal investigator may submit a new proposal that takes into consideration the ethical issue raised by the committee. What is the time frame for the review of proposals by the ERC? The initial screening is done on the first day of receipt of the proposal to ensure that all the documentation has been submitted. A more detailed technical screening at the Secretariat level is then carried out within 5 working days. We have here expedited review. Once submitted for expedited review, the proposal is reviewed within 10 days. Consequently, a responsible officer can expect a response from the Secretariat within 2 to 3 weeks of the initial submission, usually assigned to at least 2 members of the ERC with necessary expertise. The committee chair resolves conflicting opinions by him or herself or in consultation with others. Final decision is reported in the next ERC meeting. Another, full committee review. If a proposal is sent for regular review, it will be discussed at the next meeting to the date of receipt of a satisfactory submission. As a general rule, ERC meetings take place on a monthly basis. The cut-off date of receiving a proposal for discussion at a particular meeting is listed on the ERC meeting dates and deadlines for submission of protocols. The length of time for approval with both expedited and regular reviews depends on the promptness of the response from the responsible officers and the principal investigators to ERC concerned.